Hey, here's a question for you. Has a person ever done or said something so cringeworthy on a date, you just immediately lost interest? You're just like, oh, really? If so, yeah, you got the ick. Local professional matchmaker Natalie Fry from It's Just Lunch joins us now to talk about what happens when these sparks don't fly. Natalie, thanks for joining us this morning.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Okay, so explain now, lay it out for us. What exactly is your definition of the ick?
You know, it's a tricky one because sometimes there can be no rhyme or reason for it, but it usually comes up pretty early on in the dating phase of getting to know someone. And it's pretty much just a repulsion that comes up for really, a small reason typically, but it's unavoidable. You can't deny it, and it pretty much just turns you off from continuing the connection.
So we're talking pretty much like first or second date, just something, you're just like, this ain't working, and you can tell right away.
Pretty much. And it can be it's different for everyone. It could be someone's laugh or just the way they carry themselves. But it is interesting because that quality could also be the most endearing part of someone for another person. So
you were saying that you've noticed this as of late, that this is actually starting to creep up even more and more among daters in the service, right?
Yes, I would say it's being talked about more. The ick factor has been around for years, but I think due to, like TikTok and dating shows, it's definitely being talked about more. And I definitely am seeing that with my clients a bit as well. So we always want to encourage our clients to be open and explore possibilities, really take a look at what this ick is, and is it really a deal breaker, or is it something that we can overlook and really, focus also on their positive qualities that they're bringing to the table.
Okay, so if that's not the case, and look, I just know it, look, this ain't working. If you get that feeling and the sparks just aren't there, what do you do in those situations? I mean, you still have to be cordial, in these situations, right?
Right. And usually I probably wouldn't recommend that you tell this person, right, like what this ick is, because again, it is going to be unique to yourself, and somebody else could see that about them and think that that's totally fine or not even notice it. It's interesting too. I've also talked with clients who are later in a relationship, and little things that crop up later on, they didn't notice initially. So it's important to just take a look at it. Is it really a big deal, or is it something that you can kind of just brush aside for a little bit?
Okay, Natalie, this one's probably the toughest question. Like, is there any way that you could, I don't know, ick proof your dates? Like, that's like impossible, right?
It almost is impossible, honestly. I've been thinking about this one, and I think there's a couple things that we can do. First and foremost, just show up to the date, being open-minded, and as you're getting to know someone, just keeping an open mind. And I think we need to also look at ourselves and recognize that we too are imperfect. Everybody's going to have unique quirks that, hey, one person again could really be fond of and another not so much. So recognizing that that's just a part of being a human being, and really also focusing on the positives. I think it's easier to, notice the negative traits that someone might be bringing to the table, but we want to work that muscle of also noticing who someone is and all the great things they're bringing to that connection.
Yeah, because let's be honest, we all got a little bit of ick. Everyone's got a little bit of ick, so.
We all do.
Hey, Natalie, thanks for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.